Okay, so let's continue our little journey of adding with unlike denominators and just adding to the complexity and just watching a lot of algebra happen. So for the first one, we got to find a LCD because they're not the same. Luckily, both are already factored, so our LCD in this case is basically just the two factors. Alright, so mom wants to contribute x minus 2, dad wants to contribute x plus 1. They're not the same, so we'll just put them together for my LCD. So next becomes the equivalent fraction trick. So this one needs an x plus 1. Whatever I do to the top, I do to the bottom. This one needs an x minus 2. Whatever I do to the top, I do to the bottom. So we end up with 2x plus 1 all over my LCD minus 3x minus 2 all over my LCD. And again, remember the intent is to subtract. Alright, so since I have the same denominator, I'll keep it, alright, and I will subtract my numerators. Okay, and again, these are not like factors, right, because that subtraction screws everything up. What we need to do upstairs is do the subtraction. So we distribute. Alright, so there's my distribution. We combine like terms. 2x minus 3x is a negative x, and 2 plus 6 is a positive 8. And when I take a look around, right, negative x plus 8 isn't common to x minus 2 or x plus 1. So there's our final answer. So no simplification needed at the end because the top doesn't factor, the bottom is already factored, and I don't see any common factors. So notice the trick again. To find the LCD, we put them together, right? We piece them together. We build equivalent fractions by doing the same thing, the top and bottom, right? That creates the situation I needed to subtract in this case. So we keep it, subtract numerator from numerator. To perform the subtraction upstairs, we go way back to chapter 4 and we just combine like terms, distributing and whatnot, and then making sure we're in lowest terms there at the end. So there is your process. Lots of algebra ideas coming together. So for the next one, again, my denominator is different. So we begin by finding our LCD, which means we have to factor. I believe this factors as x plus 3 and x minus 2. Right, first times first is first, and last times last is last. 3x and negative 2x gives us x. Difference of squares, so we have x plus 3 and x minus 3. So what's the LCD? Well, again, it all begins with mom. Right? Mom wants to contribute those two factors. What does dad want to contribute? Well, he wants to do an x plus 3. We've got one. He wants to do an x minus 3. We're missing one. So there is your LCD. So we need to come over to this fraction. How about I write it in factored form, right? So this is x plus 3, x minus 2. And what's missing from the top and the bottom is x minus 3. And then this fraction, right? Oops, I meant to put it in factored form. What it's missing is the x minus 2. Alright, so we'll multiply top and bottom by x minus 2. So what that gives us is x minus 3. And how about we do this? I'm going to go ahead and save myself. You guys can do the same thing as well. If you clearly tell me what your LCD is, right, I'll go ahead and let you do that. It just saves a lot of time and effort in terms of work. Alright, it might also help you not do that error where you start dividing out. So we can add now. I'll keep the LCD. And we'll take the top and we'll add the top. How do I perform that addition? Well, I'll distribute, combine like terms, and then maybe we bring our LCD back together here. Okay, so right now there's our answer at the moment. Of course, my next move is, can this simplify? All right, and you ACers are going to shine again. What two numbers multiply up to -2 but add up to -2? They don't exist. All right, so this is prime, so that means that's our final answer. So again, build the LCD by factoring, right? Piece it together, all right? The equivalent idea, multiply top and bottom by the same thing to build the equivalent fraction. If you tell me what your LCD is, I'll go ahead and let that slide. So again, this results in these two guys over the LCD and x minus 2 over the LCD. We add, right, I have the same denominator, so I can add my numerators. And then, of course, we're back in Chapter 4 where we added polynomials. Distribute, combine like terms, and then the last stage is to make sure we're in lowest terms, which we did. Lots of things going on. You can see a lot of our course coming together. So many items. Fractions, factoring, adding and subtracting, tons and tons of stuff. All right? So last example. So we've got x squared plus 2x minus 8 and x squared minus x minus 2. They're not the same. So let's go over here and do some factoring work. I believe this factors is x plus 4 and x minus 2. This one factors as x minus 2, x plus 1. So putting them together, here's mom, right? She wants to contribute those two factors. Dad wants to contribute an x minus 2, but we already have one. The only thing that's missing is the x plus 1. So there's our LCD. So let's come back over here, right? The factor that's missing for this one, we're missing the x plus 1. So I'll multiply both top and bottom by x plus 1. The factor that's missing for this one, right, is x plus 4. So I'll multiply top and bottom by x plus 4. Okay? So what we have then is we have our LCD, and we have x and x plus 1, and we have 2 times x plus 4 all over the LCD. Again, if you clearly declare your LCD, I'm okay with you saving yourself some time at that step. Same denominator, so I'll keep it, and I'll take my numerator, and I'll subtract my numerator. What's next is to literally perform that subtraction. So we distribute, combine like terms, and let me go ahead and write that. Okay, so there's our subtraction. So we find the LCD by using our factoring trick and our mom and dad stuff. We find equivalent fractions by multiplying top and bottom by the missing factor. Right? We have the same denominator now, so we perform the subtraction. To do that subtraction, we distribute and combine like terms. And then last but not least, we have to make sure we're in lowest terms here. And when I look at this, again, you ACers are probably going to know, right, what two numbers multiply up to -4 but add up to -1, and that doesn't exist. So we are simplified. That's as low as we're going to go, and that's our final answer for that one. So hopefully you guys are seeing the routine. As you can see, there's a lot of moving parts, so make sure you can factor, make sure you understand how to build equivalent fractions, make sure you know how to add and subtract, right? Make sure you know how to combine like terms, right? Make sure you know how to simplify. Our whole course is coming together. So keep practicing, keep working. I'll do another round of this since this is so hard. So one more video coming up.